You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. We'll have a whole lot of bitches jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will cause a whole lot of jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will have a whole lot of jumping shit.
What's going on, party people? It's your man, 50 Grand, the Godfather, Nate Milton, and you are about to listen to another excellent episode from the Nefarious Media Network. Since January of 2025, we have been putting it down for the crown, and we've been committed to bringing you truthful, thoughtful, turned-up commentary as it pertains to the worlds of sports, politics, pop culture, pro wrestling, entertainment, and life. Yes, life. This thing that we are all just trying to get through day by day. An electric word called life, as the man used to say. And that brings us to the drive for 500. Yes, 500 YouTube subscribers, which gets us halfway to monetization, and 500 Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. That's our stretch goal for the year. Because if we hit those marks, it allows us the flexibility and the freedom and the funds, quite honestly, to do some more things here at the network, to be more consistent with our shows, to bring you new shows, and to bring some people on to help with production. So if you believe in us, man, if you believe in what we're doing here, because we got a lot of hard-working people, myself included, working 50, 60 hours a week at the shoot jobs, got families, got kids, got responsibilities, but we still do this, man, because we love this and we believe in this. And if you believe in us and you love the shows that we do, help us out, man. Help a brother out. Help a sister out. That's all we asking, because we are trying to change the game by any means necessary, even if those means may be nefarious.
It's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. We'll have a whole lot of jumping shit.
Report is cloud, producer's job. They wanna be down with the king.
And now for something completely different.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
And welcome to the Kings of Sport podcast, the program that since March of 2013 has been changing the game one show at a time, aka iTunes, longest running weekly episodic podcast produced and hosted by two or more African Americans who are not affiliated with a major network, aka the world's most dangerous sports show. Yes, we are back and better than ever, ladies and gentlemen, have a packed show this week. Not only are we going to coronate the newly crowned World Series champions, the LA Dodgers, not only are we going to talk about one of the biggest sports stories of the year coming from the National Basketball Association, not only are we going to check in with the NFL at the league's midway point, but we're also going to talk a little wrestling at the end of the program. So buckle up, get ready, because we got some great conversation this evening. But I am not alone, of course. I am the Godfather Nate Milton, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. Over 10 years in the game, not a damn thing changed. And I am joined by my fellow Kings this evening. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, you knew this man had to be here. Wasn't going to be anything in the world that could keep him away from this show tonight. So let's bring him on in. He is, of course, my co-host here at the Kings of Sport podcast. He is, of course, the mayor pro tem of Los Angeles, California. He is not only the man behind the trade that brought Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers, but he is also the money man behind Shohei Ohtani's contract that brought him to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Y'all give it up for a man who's out here celebrating. He's out here campaigning and champagning. Y'all give it up for my friend, my brother, and my co-host, the good Chris Ely, a.k.a. the Professor. Can we rock? What's up, Doc?
Man, I'm just on cloud nine that the Dodgers won back-to-back World Series. There was a time where I used to lament, come on this show, baby, about once a month or every other month, always on my Facebook page, saying maybe next year. We're gonna get them this next year. And then finally, since 1988, I've been singing this song. Finally in 2020, we got the pandemic ring, which I take. I got no problem accepting that ring. But then 2024 and 2025, back-to-back World Series wins. I had to put up with all those mother Canuckers talking all that smack. To me, I purposely stayed off of Facebook talking smack because I know how these things work. And when you get that overzealous, it's gonna come crashing down. And sure enough, it did. To John and Way's credit, they took their L like men. Because I was watching, I only watched the beginning of the Saturday night's main event review show. I only watched the beginning. I didn't even watch the review part. I just watched wanted to see if how they were gonna take their humble pie. And they took it like a couple G's, so I'll give them credit for that. But all you other Canuckers, yeah. How you like me now? That's all I gotta say.
And to all of our brothers and sisters up north, strap in, because it's going to be that kind of show. Because not only is Chris here, but we have his tag team partner from the Cali contingent himself. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for one of the hosts of Ring Theory, which is available here at the Nefarious Media Network. He is the holder of the Shula Fala. He is the leader of the Mid-Card Marauders. Y'all give it up for Upper Mid-Card Jay Lacey. Jay, what's going on, brother?
Oh my gosh. What up, Kings? How y'all doing? My voice is a little bit raspy, but for good reason, because to the victor goes the spoils. I mean, my man Chris, you are very, very, you eloquently, handled, when John and Way, and shout out to those brothers too. I don't know them personally, but I took it personally. When they were starting to bury the Dodgers, John was already planning the parade.
Yeah.
He was already getting like the champagne ready. He was
Right.
doing everything, and Wade was trying to pump the brakes and like, hey man, you might want to slow your roll on this
Yeah.
one. But John Pollock, my man, was like, yo, we won. This is in the bag, you know. I'm kind of excited about game 6, but hey, if we got to go to game 7. I like my chances. And I'm petty. I wasn't gonna say nothing to nobody. Took it personal. I'm doing my best, Stephen A. Smith, Nate. I took it personal. You don't want an enemy out of me. I took it personal. But you know what? Shout out to those brothers, man. I heard a little bit of what they were saying too, and it's all in good fun. But you know what? Drake took another loss, and I'm just smiling. And you know, it's been a good day. It's been a great day.
Yes, it's been a great day in LA. The confetti is still on the streets right now, but somebody who hasn't been celebrating is the fourth member of the team this week. He's not been celebrating for a number of reasons. Number one, first and foremost, his starting quarterback. That's my quarterback. Is going to be out for the foreseeable future. Get well. My man Jaden Daniels and the Commanders out there. Another reason he hadn't been celebrating, Chris, is because his girl, Tiffany Stratton, is no longer the world champion. And so to that brother, I would say, hey, don't cry over spilled milk, man. She might come back and get it. But let's bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. The super producer. Some call him the Caitlin Clark of production. That's why we call him Caitlin Dark. Y'all give it up for a very, very sad, a very emotional two-way Ray Williams. What's up, brother?
That joke is getting tired, brother Nate. It's getting tired.
Ray, don't lash. Look, I know you're going through some trying times, brother, but you ain't got to lash out at family.
Lash. I'm just trying to get my bearings. Fortunately, that's not the brand of milk I drink, brother. And I was glad. I was glad Sister Jade got her back for that Black Bee comment with the video. So I'm glad for Sister Jade. But yes, I am still mourning the loss of JD. So hopefully he gets himself together, fully healthy. But yeah, as I've told you through our private group chats, yeah, I'm considering this a loss. Yeah, I'm considering this. This was supposed to be the rebuilding year that we should have had last year. We just had more success than we thought we would. So we'll see.
That's a very mature way to look at things, Ray.
It is.
You know,
Cowboys.
But this next segment may not be mature for our listeners up north because this is going to be the Dodgers Winner's Circle, Homer's Corner portion of the podcast. And I feel like, Ray Williams, you know what? We've never been a show that cared about copyright strikes or trademark strikes. So why start now? Let's get some background music going.
All right. Is there anything? Oh, you got
I'm playing the music, Ray. You ain't got to play the music.
Gotcha.
It's for Jay and Chris. All them Dodger fans out there. Talking about Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
We talking about Mookie Betts. We talking about Dave Roberts, the manager, bringing everything together. We talking about that traitor, that turncoat, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
We talking about
Will Smith,
Miguel Rojas. We talking about Will Smith and Ray Williams. We talking about Yoshi Yamamoto. Oh, my bad. I said his name wrong, Jay. Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Your World Series MVP as the Dodgers defeated the Toronto Blue Jays in 7 games in one of the most exciting World Series that we've seen in a long time. It was a great matchup from both teams. It was exciting. I think Game 7 did over 25 million viewers, one of the biggest audiences for a World Series game since 2017. And so, yeah, like as a neutral party to all of this, you know, somebody that can respect both teams, I enjoyed it. You know, I was rooting for Toronto just because I got a soft spot in my heart for Vlad Guerrero Jr. because, you know, I was a big fan of his daddy back in the day, and I think this kid has the goods. Plus, I wanted John and Way to be happy about something for once because all they do is cover wrestling that makes them unhappy. So I wanted John and Way to be happy, but I wasn't mad that the Dodgers won, man. It was a good series, man. You can say all you want about the Dodgers, cooking the books, as it were, Jay, with all this money. But we've seen other teams with money, other teams with all these financial advantages. New York Mets, Chicago Cubs haven't been able to have the success that the Dodgers have, and now they are back-to-back World Series champions. Chris, we'll give you the floor first, brother.
It's
because you giving up on the Dodgers. You were saying before the game, before the show tonight, you had given up on the Dodgers. You had turned off the TV and was startled to find out they won.
I didn't. So I went to Game 7 hopeful, but when I saw the score, I was like, yeah, I don't need to do this to my blood pressure or my life. So let me just back away from this. Then they started winning. It wasn't that I didn't, because they've come back from these kind of deficits before. So it wasn't like that was unfathomable. It's just that when you are a fan like me, you don't need the blood pressure issues. You really just don't. It's like it's high highs and low lows. And and like you were saying about all the money, man, like the Dodgers threw so much money at so many people, man. Like it was like, and you do start worrying about that kind of stuff as a fan, because we've seen sports teams do this, right? They spend and spend and spend, and at the end of the day come up short. So the fact that they got 2 World Series in a row, Clayton Kershaw gets to retire a champion, which is fine. He's been my favorite baseball player for the last 10 years or so. Even in his waning years, the fans kind of, they're like, get him out the game and stuff like that. I still had a soft spot for Kershaw, so I'm glad he's retiring with 3 technically, because I do count, even though he didn't play last year, I count that as 3. But he's retiring a champ after 18 years, and just that makes me happy. The future looks bright for them. I could easily see them being the first team since the Yankees to three-peat. And Toronto, you got to give them credit, man, because they kind of came out of nowhere. Like I wasn't picking them to win the AL. I just wasn't picking them. They were not on my radar until maybe about August, and then I was like, okay, these guys might be doing something. So it's just a crazy season. Shout out to Mookie Betts and the turncoat, as you say, Freddie Freeman, which and we gotta talk about him too, because he was really moving to LA was not easy for that dude. He liked the situation he had in Atlanta, but I mean, when you win in the city of Los Angeles, you have the keys to the kingdom. When you win, if you do not win, then people turn on you real fast. But once you start winning, and once people see who you are, he's going to be a star in this city forever. So I mean, he did go into the Dodgers. There's no reason to lament that move. So, and shout out to all those dudes, and hopefully they don't go to the White House this year. That was the only positive of the Blue Jays winning, because we know they ain't going to the White House. Right. So with the Dodgers, you have to kind of ask these questions, and we'll see. I don't think it's going to be I don't think every player is going to go to the White House this year. I think some will, but I do think there will be some that don't. And I might be eating my words later, but that's a topic for another day. So
I want to welcome Shuhei Utini to the White House. Yeah. Shuhei, do you like my ballroom? They don't have ballrooms like this in Japan, Shuhei. Jay. Jay Lacey, obviously, from your attire, for those that are watching the video version of this podcast, they know where your loyalties lie, brother. And so, yeah, as Chris said, there were a lot of really good stories on both sides for both teams. When you talk about somebody like Clayton Kershaw, who's had this distinguished career, people kind of wrote him off. He's hanging around for one last run, and they end up sending him home with a chip. Where you've got somebody like Mookie Betts. Everybody knows how great Mookie Betts is, but midway through the season, they make the transition, and he's playing shortstop instead of playing in the outfield. And how does that work when you've got this great pipeline? And I think that's the point I think people miss when they talk about the Dodgers payroll, because yes, it's a crazy, extravagant payroll, but they spend the money wisely when you invest in a player like Shohei, when you kind of tap into that Japanese pipeline, when you bring in somebody like Yoshi. And so, like, yeah, like I obviously, as a Braves fan, I have some bias in this conversation, Jay. But I think it was a great series, man. Like, could have gone either way at multiple points in Game 7. They were like, I think there's this thing called the golden ball in baseball, where one pitch can win or lose the game for either team. And we had several golden ball situations where, the last play of the game, if that's a hit, who knows what we're talking about today? And that turned into a double play that sealed the game for the Dodgers. So what was your experience during the series, and how you feeling right now, brother?
Man, the series, I think this was like one of the more exciting World Series that I can remember. Number one, Game 3 that went 18 innings. I mean, I have a group chat, and I was like, in the group chat, I was saying, man, it seems like Dave Roberts wants to win this on max difficulty, because he was throwing everybody out there that if you got an arm and you can semi-throw accurately, you were pitching that game, I mean, and shout out to this dude, Will Klein. No one ever heard of Will Klein, except for people he went to high school with, right? And that dude came in and gave us a couple innings flawlessly, right? I mean, this dude was dealing. So there's so many different game breakers and playmakers in the series on both sides. And I mean, the Blue Jays gave the Dodgers everything they could handle and some. And fortunately, the better team won. And going back to like the payroll, it's not only the payroll, because I think what's his name? Shohei was offered by the Blue Jays something similar to what the Dodgers are paying him. But it's not only the payroll, it's the culture that's being fostered in the Dodger organization. And someone was even saying that the Dodgers, the farm system has a bunch of young hitters coming in too, a bunch of young arms that are just waiting, that are in the development system right now. So it's not just paying for players. I mean, yeah, you got the Mets, you got the Yankees, you got the Cubs, you got all these other organizations, but they're paying the right people that fit the culture that they're trying to continue winning and continue doing that, bring that tradition over into Tinseltown.
Ray Williams, culture is not something that you get a lot of from DC sports. So you may not be able to speak on that part, brother. But Ray is like, why did I even come back on the screen for this? But what did you think, man? As somebody probably much like myself who didn't have a dog in the fight, just watching it as a baseball fan, what did you think of the series?
Well, with all transparency, I was keeping it up. I didn't get a chance to watch much of the games live, but as I was keeping it up, it was shaping up to be like a historic series, especially like you mentioned, Brother Jay, with that third game going into 18 innings, and then this game, which was possibly on the brink of going into extra innings, Game 7, and some people considering this the best Game 7 ever in like World Series history. So, like you guys mentioned, it's not just about the money, but what you do with the money and how the team coalesces around itself. Like you mentioned, and I think John and Wade mentioned this when they were talking about it on their review of Saturday night's main event. Even though Dodgers have the number one payroll amount in payroll spent, Blue Jays have number 5. They are number 5. So It's not like they're doing it like the Oakland A's used to do it with the small ball, the money ball, and just picking players here and there.
Right.
Or not like the Tampa Bay Rays used to do it, like picking players here or there. They're spending some money too. So it's all about the like you mentioned, Brother Jay, the culture that you build, and not only with all of those players working well, but let's go ahead and give Dave Roberts his props. And before I stick my foot in my mouth, we don't have a we don't have a Juice Robinson situation with Dave Robinson. Like he is a part of the culture, right? He is the brother, right? I just
it's confirmed. Dave Robinson's black, right. Confirmed.
All right, thank you. So, and let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong on this.
Ray is like, is he Dominican? I can't tell.
You never know. I never knew Big Papi was Dominican until he said something. But Dave Roberts, well, he might be, correct me if I'm wrong on this as well. He might be the one of the few black coaches or managers, if not the only black manager with 3 World Series rings. So
yeah, well, when you put it at that number, yes. Like obviously you got to give respect to Cito Gaston for the Jays back in the day. They got a chip. There's a couple others, but yeah, in terms of the amount, it's Dave Roberts by a mile. And I also think when you talk about Dave Roberts managing, because
Dusty Baker has one too. Right?
Yeah, Dusty's got one. But when you talk about the role of a manager in baseball, Chris, and I'm sure you and Jay hear this like in sports bars or on sports talk radio or on TV out there, like a manager can never be right until they actually win. And so like people all see kind of second guessing Dave Roberts' decisions and this and that. And I think one of the biggest things Dave Roberts did was in Game 7 when he's like, yo, like we up against it. Our bullpen isn't great to begin with. They had that 18-inning game the other night that kind of rearrange the bullpen going forward. And so, yeah, we're going to throw Kershaw out there. We're going to throw all hands on deck. And then we're finally going to hand the ball over to Yoshi. And Yoshi did one of the most amazing things. Like Madison Bumgarner did this a few years ago. But to me, what Yoshi did over this postseason was one of the most impressive pitching performances I've seen, where he goes out and is the reason, in my opinion, that the Dodgers won in was it Game 2?
Yeah.
In Game 2, he comes back in Game 6 is part of the big reason why they win Game 6. And then in Game 7, there's some rocky spots when he comes out there, Jay, but he does the damn thing. He gets the job done. And to come back after throwing 96, 97 pitches the night before and then giving you those quality innings to win the game, like you can't say enough about this team, because you got to remember, for all the talk about these big stars, Toronto's pitching kind of kept them quiet in Game 6 and Game 7 for the most part. And so it was a matter of, can our pitching hold up enough to get our batters time to get some runs? And they got enough runs, and then Yoshi shut the door. So it was a great performance all the way around. Like you said, Chris, both teams played hard, man. You got to tip your cap to the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette was doing his thing. Vladdy was doing his thing, man. The pitching staff showed up. And so for a series that I thought, because I predicted Dodgers in 6, because I was like, on paper, the Dodgers are a much better team than Toronto. Yeah. But like them boys came out to play, so you got to tip your cap to them.
Yeah, I picked them in 6 also. I thought that if it went to 7, the Dodgers would be in trouble. I thought they had to do it in 6. But they did it in 7, man, and it was just amazing to watch and witness, man. It was because you got to understand how thirsty this culture has been since like 1988, and then finally we get the ring in the 2020, but it doesn't feel real to people. Then we get it in 2024, and then we get it in 2025, and a lot of things fell in place for the Dodgers over the last like 10 years that kind of symbolized change and shift was coming. Magic Johnson being a part owner, that is instant credibility with players, because even though it's not the same sport, Magic Johnson is a proven winner, and people are going to be attracted to go to the team with someone like him at the helm, someone that actually, and he shows up and cares about the players, went to all the games. 18 rings for Magic Johnson, man. He mentioned that on Fox after the game. He's like, "This is my 18th ring," So congrats, Magic Johnson. But yeah, man, it's just so great to see all, like, so many Hall of Famers on this team, so many future Hall of Famers, and this is gonna be one that, like, you're gonna be glad you lived in this time to see it, man. And I hope the people that in LA who are young enough to, like, party and do all the stuff that young people do appreciate this, because I'm in my 40s now, so I can't do the stuff that these kids are doing. But like,
you can't be ratchet no more, Chris.
Right? Yeah, I can't do how I was when the Lakers won. But it's calmed down. But yeah, man. So just enjoy this. And my only thing I do hope Toronto stays the same. I hope their team, I do want to see them at least make a World Series run next year, because I know how markets like Toronto are when you have almost a winning season and you almost win the chip, but you don't. Owners have a tendency to unnecessarily move around pieces.
Yes.
So I hope they stay the same, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, go Dodgers.
Yeah, I think the big thing for the Blue Jays is they did sign Vladdy to an extension. The question mark in the offseason is going to be Bo Bichette, who had a big home run in Game 7, if he's back or not. But I think Toronto's going to be okay. They're going to be competitive. That AL East is always kind of crazy with Boston and New York.
Yeah, really.
Baltimore when they decide to be good. But Jay, we were talking before the show tonight that this series, if we were to describe this series as a wrestling match, it would be the situation where you've got the underdog who's a babyface, and then you've got the favorite who's a babyface, and then at some point the underdog starts winning, and it's like, is the underdog going to pull off the upset? And then the favorite wins, and it's like this. It's not like a Ric Flair win where Ric Flair cheats to win in the end, and everybody goes home feeling a little bit like, oh, that kind of sucked. It's kind of the opposite, where like maybe a John Cena U.S. Open Challenge kind of match, or like you were saying, a Sami Zayn kind of match, where even though the favorite won, everybody kind of goes home happy, except for people that live in Toronto, because we got a good show.
Yeah, so I think that this would be the equivalent of what's that guy's name? Ellsworth when he first came in.
Ellsworth.
Ellsworth. When he got the surprise win, I don't want to say it was like that, but it's like you shouldn't be surprised. But it's like, yo, this is what champions do. Winners win. And the way that going back to your analogy, going back to, I would say Sami Zayn with the U.S. Championship. Before he dropped it, he was in competitive matches. He's going to deliver the goods, and you see him getting beat down, but then the hell of a kick comes through. You know what I mean? It's like, there it is, and there goes the blue thunder bomb. Everybody's gonna kick out, and then that one time, I forgot the one match he did it, and he actually won with it. It's like, wait a minute, that's what I would equate it to. You know what I'm saying? To me, the World Series was really. Nate says it was booked. I don't think it was booked at all. I think it was very competitive. I of course, I'm coming on the winner side of it, But I mean, there's so many good things and so many good moments that came out of it from both sides of it. Clement, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He was, dude. He's got like the most hits in the World Series. I think it is. Like 30. Bo Bichette again from the Blue Jays. But there's so many. Again, Alex Rojas for the Dodgers making plays. That's what winners do. And you can just see when the Blue Jays were up, they were just celebrating too much. And the Dodgers kept grinding and grinding and grinding. And if you've seen this movie before, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Winners win. They just
To me, the play of Game 7, Jay, from a defensive standpoint, is when you got the defensive replacement late in the game. I can't remember his name, but he's in center. Ball gets hit to left.
Alex Paez.
Yes, yeah. Ball gets hit to left, and the left field is going back. I don't think he would have caught the ball because, like, he had the track on the ball, but I think the ball would have hit the wall before he got there. I don't think he was going to be able to make that catch. And then your man just comes in. He's like, "I got this, son." Sir, you just got in the game, my boy. And he took over the game because if he does not make that play, we're having a different story, different conversation today. And so it's these little things, these little moments. And it felt like in Game 7, Jay, we had a series of moments, like when Connor Falefa gets thrown out at home plate by like an inch. It's just like any one of those, like when the Blue Jays pitcher with the ball, like he's going to make that tag at first base. If he takes one more step and stumbles, then the Dodger is safe. And so it's like these little moments that kind of frame the game. And I think that's what made Game 7 so compelling.
And again, winners win. And this is like very top elite players making plays. I mean, you're going back to Kike Hernandez and Andy Paez in outfield. I mean, they've been doing those plays all year. No one wants to test Paez's arm. He's got a cannon on him. I mean, so they've been making those kind of plays all year. The double play to end the game. My gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the kids say, cinema. That's exactly what this series was.
Any final thoughts on the World Series, Ray Williams?
Well, I just wanted to know if I know Jay gave his equivalent as far as like a wrestling kind of like analogy or analogous wrestling match. If you guys had any in mind. My brother Chris.
Let me think. If I was going to compare it to anything wrestling related, I could have loosely said Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes lost in Los Angeles and then won it next year, so that wouldn't really be apropos. I'm trying to think, and that where I got this kind of feeling, I would probably say, it's to me, it's like a like maybe the Flair Steamboat,
Okay.
Because when they had their last match, they both were appreciative of each other, and it was like kind of a good swan song for Steamboat until he went to the WWE and they showed him how much they appreciate him in that second, the Dragon run. When he goes back to WCW, he has a decent career up until 94 when he retires. So yeah, I'd probably say something like that.
Okay, that's not a bad one. And I think I would go, Ray. I know you said you had one as well. I think I would go like Cena versus Mysterio, where you get a hell of a match. You get like the underdog where you at points you believe he's going to win, and then the other points you're like, oh, Cena just going to win. And then you just get drawn into the match, and then Cena does win, but you don't feel cheated. You feel like, man, I just got to witness a hell of a match.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Another good one would be like WrestleMania 3 with going back to Ricky Steamboat, him and Savage with the Intercontinental.
Yes.
That one right there. I mean, that's like one of the more all-time matches. Even though it's not for a world title, it's still an Intercontinental Championship. And that's when it meant something when you had that belt right there. So I would probably use that one as a better analogy.
Okay.
And a lot of wrestling purists do like consider Steamboat Savage the main event of that WrestleMania. It was that iconic of a match, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, in my mind, I think one match that really stood out, I was gonna like honorable mention to Unbreakable 2005, the three-way between AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels for the championship, where you had your babyface and you had Samoa Joe, who was kind of like an anti-hero, but people were rooting for anyway. And you also had Christopher Daniels, who, while he was playing the heel, he was still kind of like had his back against the wall with two very capable competitors. And so you wanted the babyface to pull it out. You want AJ Styles to win, but you know, every which away is just like a different move being hit by Daniels and by Joe, and you think one of them are going to pick it up, and then all of a sudden you just get AJ Styles reversing the Angel's wings and picking it off with a reversal and getting the pinfall victory. So that's my honorable mention. But the match that really stood out as far as like a back and forth, like barn burner with both guys who you really want to win, and you think this guy's going to win, and you think this guy's going to win, and you think just by hearing the match or in the setup that it's already you already know who the winner is. But the way that they told the story during the match is just so compelling, and possibly I know a lot of people consider it one of the greatest professional wrestling matches in wrestling history. And I am speaking of of WrestleMania 26. Tempe, Arizona, career versus streak. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. So it just seems like it embodies, like that match just embodies what we saw in this World Series. So that's what I had on my mind. But I know we've been talking a little bit of wrestling and comparing it to baseball. I know I know with wrestling, we tell y'all, don't gamble on wrestling, y'all. Don't do it. Don't put no money, don't put no wagers on wrestling. And though we know that this World Series was one where, like, fair and square, we know that there have been some gambling controversies in baseball as well. If you go all the way back to 1919 with the famous Black Sox, the Chicago Black Sox of that team, and Shoeless Joe.
Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. It ain't so, kid.
Yeah.
Even though it is.
And then you fast forward to the now Hall of Famer Pete Rose, who got banned for life for betting when he was a manager. And then even fast forward to the beginning of this season, where we thought, when we're talking about the Dodgers, hey Shohei, you got something to hide, brother. And then all of a
that's
sudden,
the MVP of the season, Ray. Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, because my boy took the fall so that the Dodgers could rise.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
So again, we know baseball has been through their fair share of gambling scandals, and I guess the NBA is no different. We had it a couple years ago with Jonte Porter, but now it's taking a big piece of the media landscape now with two different gambling scandals, one involving current NBA head coach and Detroit Pistons legend, and shout out, I believe, Charles Durham in the Instagram. He's from Detroit. He's been rooting in the chat over in the IG Live for Detroit teams. So he's well aware of Chauncey Billups and what he can do. But Chauncey Billups getting caught up in a gambling scandal that possibly, allegedly involves the mob and rigging poker games. Then we have Scary Terry Rozier from the Miami Heat getting caught up in possible inside trading. Again, allegedly, possible inside trading as far as telling when he is going to possibly be hurt and then giving other gamblers an opportunity to bet the under on him in games that he plays. And then former Cleveland Cavalier and former coach Damon Jones getting caught up in both of them. So, so Brother Nate, I'll let you take it. What do you think? And let's not forget to mention the FBI who want to get out ahead of this and show their muscle with FBI Director Kash Patel having his own personal press conference on the day of the arrests and puffing his chest out. So, Brother Nate, what do you think of this scandal? Do you think that there's more that lies ahead as far as the investigations that are that led up to these arrests? Do you think that there's more trouble brewing?
So, first of all, Kash Patel Records taking over for the 99 and 2000s. Worst record label ever. Second thing, this is the kind of story that this show was made for, fellas, because we talking sports, we talking politics, we talking tuckery, as you would say, Ray Williams. It's all wrapped into one. And normally when we talk NBA, I'd get you to play the round ball rock, Ray, but this don't feel like a round ball rock type of conversation unless you got like the slowed down AI version of round ball rock, where it's a little bit more somber.
You got to play the Dragnet theme for this.
Play the round ball rock with police sirens in the background, like King Mabel's old theme on WWF. But here's the thing about this scandal. So you're right, Ray. There are two separate things going on. So I know some folks are trying to conflate them, but there are two separate operations here. You know, where you got Operation Royal Flush, which is the one that is following what's going on with Chauncey Billups and these high stakes poker games and La Cosa Nostra being involved. And then you've got Operation Nothing But Bet, which again, government agencies and they stupid ass puns. That's another conversation for another day. But Operation Nothing But Bet is the one that's following Scary Terry Rozier and these kind of insider trading and giving people insider tips in terms of when he's going to be available to play and things of that nature. So my first thought when I heard this, Chris, about a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago now, is like, damn, did nobody learn anything from the Jonte Porter situation? Because we talked about that when it happened a few years ago. And so it's like, I think there's a couple levels to this because you've got the individual responsibility of Chauncey and of Terry Rozier and of Damon Jones and what role they played in all of this. Then you've also got the legal side and the federal side, which is a little bit more complicated now than it would have been under the Biden administration, Chris, because we know that this agency now has ulterior motives in a way that maybe they didn't quite before. Even though I ain't never trust the FBI, but I trust the FBI even less now, Chris. But I think when you look at this, there's a couple things. Like Chauncey, it's not a good look. He was doing some good things in Portland. I thought Chauncey Billups was the right person to appoint to that position to turn things around for the Blazers, but I don't know how he got into this, and that's the question. The how and the why, Jay, that I keep coming back to, because is this strictly a money thing? Is this, when you got these alleged mafia ties, is there something where Chauncey or somebody that in Chauncey's family or in Chauncey's group is being threatened? And Chauncey had to do this. The only thing I'm sure of is that Chauncey Billups wasn't a damn mastermind. Like Chauncey Billups wasn't putting no meta glasses on and putting chips in the cards. Like Chauncey, he didn't have time to do that. He's coaching a basketball team. But then you've got the Terry Rozier portion of it, and I'm like, that to me is the easier one where it's like, Terry, come on, man, what are you doing? Like, I know gambling money has infused all of professional sports, and that's a conversation that nobody really wants to talk about because it's different than it was in Pete Rose's day. It's even more different than it was in Michael Jordan's day when Michael Jordan had those allegations of gambling around him. But I think it's just a bad look for all involved, Chris. And I do feel like, even though like there should be some accountability here, I do feel like the federal government is weaponizing their authority here. When you got Terry Rozier in the shackle, like they walking his brother out like he Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Like he killed people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I get it. He did a bad thing allegedly, but come on, man. Now you're going too far.
Yeah, they're putting some extras on it. Here's the thing. I want to do a couple rumor killers. Just ones more specifically.
Okay.
This started under Joe Biden's FBI. I don't think a lot of people know that. This isn't something Kash Patel didn't mastermind this shit. This was under the old FBI director with Joe Biden. This was 2 years in the making. You know, and that's the thing about these kind of organizations. They do not move fast. They move slow. They move slow enough to where you think you're getting, so you're doing more stuff on top of the stuff they're initially charging you with, and you're just adding on top of it. And that's what sucks about this whole gambling thing. And like you were saying, Nate, it's a different landscape because now the sports agencies are in business with like DraftKings and all that other shit. Man, I remember we had a conversation a long time ago, and I said the one sponsorship I'd be wary to have as a sponsor are the betting thing. You know, just because I know how seeded that stuff is. I know how people are with gambling. I had gambling addicts in my family. And the problem with gambling is it's almost an addiction. None of these people need the money, you know. They've got Chauncey Billups. If he did his money, if he did good with his money, he's set for life. So why are you getting in stuff like this? You know, that's the question you have to ask for all of these individuals, right? And it's even so. And the way the betting is now is like, I remember listening to an interview wasn't that long ago where basketball players saying when they're walking out of the games, people are like, instead of like shaking their hands and stuff, this is at home games, they're like, man, I'm mad at you. You should have scored 6 points. Because people are betting on the points exactly. They're betting on the quarter you might get injured in very, very precisely. And it's not just gambling they bet on. You know, it's not just like sports they bet on. They're betting on politics, you know. They're betting on who's gonna win by how much and all that stuff. And betting on professional wrestling is just fun.
Folks, don't do it.
I don't understand why you would do that. I mean, because it's like, and that's an easy thing to kind of like set up, you know, because like, if you're a booker, if you're booking this shit, all you got to do is place a bet on, you know, it's too stupid to make a bet on, right? I never understood the DraftKings with AEW and WWE. But, like this basketball thing, it's kind of heartbreaking too, because I think this does tarnish the legacy of Chauncey Billups. I don't know if he's going to be welcomed in those NBA circles anymore the way he used to be. I I do think his career is finished. I hope we get more. I hope there's something that exonerates him, but it's just not looking like that. Not for any of those guys.
No.
It just looks bad, and yeah. I don't think I think the Cash Patel people, they're just adding theatrics on top of it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's pause right here for a second, Chris, because I want to come back. This is where I wanted to come back to with you, because this is your arena, the political space. And so, yes, this investigation, as you stated, started under the Biden administration. But this, to me, feels like a case where something that may have been started for a good reason. Like, we need to see what's going on with these gambling rings. We need to see, are they doing harm to not only the people that are betting, but to the players? Because the player can easily, as you said, Chris, get caught up in this. But now to where you've got Cash Patel out here puffing his chest, and where you've got Congress, who can't even end this damn government shutdown, calling Adam Silver to come testify in front of Congress. It's like, come on, man. Where do you feel like the politics of it all kind of fits into the story?
It's hard to say right now, because I have to kind of see how all this plays out. I know that the FBI, they're a joke organization right now just because of who the head of it is. So I don't know what kind of what kind of stuff they're gonna try to stick Chauncey with, or any of those other guys with. It's really just hard to say. If there's any there, and they get stuck with some hardcore charges in this administration, Trump is going to try to see what he can get out of them. It's just that simple. It's like, you are going to have to, if you want guaranteed freedom, you're going to have to get in bed with that shit. And I hope it doesn't come to that. But, these are Fed charges. These are not going to be once you get the FBI in it, it's not the PD anymore. It's the Feds. And when the Feds are involved, and I guess, again, Trump is a guy who has shown time and time again that he will take bribes and money from people to get for freedom and stuff. Trump is not an honorable man. The FBI has never been an honorable agency, but what I'd say about the FBI, because it's one of those things where there's a bunch of different stories you can tell about the FBI, and all of them could be true at the same time. Are they an evil organization? Yes. But are they a strategic organization? Yes. Are they, if they have a case against you, is it likely that you did it? Yes. But there have been cases where they've trumped things up, and added extras on it. So it's just one of those things. And I just don't think these guys walk out of this unscathed. I don't. And Trump is going to probably want to make them dance. That's kind of like his thing. This is the price you pay for stuff like this, man. On the one hand, you can be like, yeah, at least Trump is president, so he will do some dirty dealings. But on the second hand, you don't know the kind of shit these people are going to want you to do. So just saying it like that.
So to paraphrase Chris, paraphrasing Flavor Flav, Jay, get up, get down. FBI is a joke in your town, brother. because this is crazy because you got the political aspect of it. You got, obviously the pro sports aspect of it, but then the other party that is mentioned several times in this story, Jay, La Cosa Nostra, the mob, the mafia. And so when Chris says this may be a situation where Chauncey can't get out of unscathed, it goes both ways. Like Chauncey, I know you watching, brother. I know you one of our subscribers because we are on the drive to 5. But Chauncey, don't flip on the mob, brother. Don't flip. Whatever you do, Chauncey, don't flip on the family. So, Jay, what do you make of this situation, man? Because there's a lot of different tentacles kind of coming out of this story.
Yeah, I think the first thing I thought of is going to Terry Rozier. I know he had to be doing something allegedly. I follow basketball and I play, fantasy basketball going back several years. And you've seen that guy's production almost coincidentally fall off, and it was almost like, what is going on with this dude? Fast forward to see that he's caught up in this tuckery. It's not surprising. It's not really surprising. It's like, man, and now going to this whole political scheme. One of the notes I was taking was like, it feels like they paraded these players, these coaches, and they're trying to send a message, and it almost seems like it's a distraction. I don't know from what, but this is a distraction from the alphabet boys, and I don't want no smoke with them, but it does seem a little bit odd that only those NBA players are the pictures that we're seeing that are being fronted on this. When you said that there's other people involved in the mob or the mafia, whoever, we haven't seen not one other person, and not like I would be able to recognize such person if given the fact. But fool me. AI generate somebody for me. Put an avatar of somebody up there, not just these brothers. You know what I mean? And it seems like it's a veiled threat. It's a distraction. Haven't figured out for what yet, but I mean, give it time. This administration will show us exactly what they're doing in due time.
Yeah.
Right.
They always do.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just saying because they always do. Yeah, I mean that's just what you get from this administration,
Yeah,
Indeed.
and distraction is a good word because they're distracting folks from the government shutdown. They're distracting folks from the fact that SNAP benefits are being messed with. They're distracting folks from the fact that the economy is what it is. They're distracting folks from the fact that we got elections in several states tomorrow. They're distracting folks from asking about that one particular file that you still ain't released, Mr. President.
Right.
I was asked about the Epstein files today when I was doing my interview, and people were asked. I was asked essentially if I think there's anything in the Epstein files, and I can't emphatically say I don't think it's going to amount to anything. Here's the thing. It's like the thing that these idiots like MAGA Mike Johnson and all these other people are saying is like, well, Bill Clinton is all up and down these files and Trump isn't. He's got the biggest connection to Epstein Island. And you would think that if Bill Clinton was the only person in these files or the most prominent person in these files, wouldn't these idiots want to stick it to him? If he's in these files, and the fact that they're not releasing them is a very big telltale sign. So I definitely think there might be some shit in this, I wouldn't get overly excited about it, but I wouldn't necessarily be like, it's nothing. It's a nothing burger. Because if it was a nothing burger, then they would have released them by now. It's really that. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out.
And the other thing is, even if there is something credible that implicates Trump in this, it may change a few minds, Chris, that aren't already made up about Donald Trump. But for the most part, we've seen this man can do no wrong in the eyes of those that follow him.
Yeah, but this is the one, though. This is the one.
You think this will be the one?
Yeah, this will change more minds than anything else, because you have to understand the psychology behind this stuff. The people that were latched onto these Epstein files are all the people that believed in Pizzagate. They were all the people that believed there was this crazy child porn ring that Hollywood celebrities that were attached to, and you know, Trump is going to get in office and he's going to expose these people. Then when he gets, then when he gets in office, he says the Epstein files aren't a big deal. So what happens after that is, on his Truth Social platform, he starts getting ratioed. What it means to get ratioed is where the comments of people hating you start outnumbering all the likes. And this happened a few times, and you already had people like Nick Fuentes, who's actually to the right of Charlie Kirk. And you had people that are just kind of really, really out there saying that why is the Epstein files not being released? There's at least four Republican Congress people that want the files released. There is a couple senators that want the files released that are Republicans. And
you got Marjorie Taylor out on these streets.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot of people in they wanted this to go. This is where all these distractions come from, and it hasn't worked. That's the thing. This is I compared it to I wrote an article on this a while ago, that Donald Trump is becoming Tyler Durden. And what I meant by that is, in the movie Fight Club, the narrator, he told his people what to do already as Tyler Durden before the narrator could catch up to the lie. It was like, or could catch up to what was being said. It's like when it was they take him to the place, and he's like, the cops are like, "Oh, that was awesome, Tyler." And then you told us if anybody ever revealed this, even you, to cut your nuts off, cut his nuts off. And they're like, and then he tries to tell him not. He said, "You told us you'd say that." It's like Trump has done this. This is what he created. He told these people these Epstein files are serious and there's something real. This is what all these manosphere people voted for, and that's why you see these kind of rifts in the fraction. So again, I wouldn't just say it's nothing. I wouldn't get overly excited, but this is the one thing that seems to have wakened these people up, unlike any other thing. And I follow this story every week, and it hasn't died down. It hasn't since he's the minute Trump said the files are not important. These people want to know what's in those files.
What about you, Ray? When it comes to this, like the government's involvement in this case, the Chauncey Billups of it all, the mafia of it all, and like Jay said, like they're not parading Bugsy Malone out here on these streets. Like, I did it, see? I told Chauncey, cut the card, see? Like they're not parading him on TV. But what have you made of all of this the last couple of weeks?
Well, like you brothers mentioned, it's kind of, and I understand it. I understand what you're talking about, Chris, as far as this investigation being started under the Biden administration. But it's kind of odd that now it pops up. They want to have all of this stuff come out literally in the beginning of the season for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like with all these, again, it's just seen as, like you mentioned, Nate, a bunch of distractions from things that are pretty much
Yeah.
like literally impacting folks all over the world, or all over this country, I should say. And you're trying to kind of distract us with something that's, I mean, in
Yeah.
the
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
yeah, in the large scheme of things, doesn't really mean that much. I mean, I know that there are people that are mentioning that, oh, well, if it comes out that it's even bigger as far as with the particular scandal that Rozier is under, if it becomes, because we already know not only did John Tay Porter get kind of caught up, but Malik Beasley kind of got caught up with something separate. And to his credit and his attorney's credit, they like Charlie, they like what's my man's name? Dave Chappelle. I plead the fifth. I ain't had nothing to do with it. I ain't had no, don't say I didn't. I ain't turn on nobody. I have nothing to do with none of these other scandals that's coming out. What I did was on me. And so but even with that, it's like we had stuff come out with Malik Beasley where he got caught up with possible insider trading, and it was kind of revealed that he owed a bunch of people in his personal life, like his doggone dentist and his barber, and he owed back pay to his landlord, and so it was crazy, the stuff that Beasley was getting accused of. And so now is kind of trickling down with more information on these particular two cases. And again, if this particular case with Rozier digs up even deeper, then that can kind of unravel the trust that fans have in it. And I believe people are mentioning on podcasts that could lead to taxpayers kind of wanting to sue the franchises if they know that like their players are actually pretty much rigging games.
Yeah.
It's like, man, we're paying, like, you have us, like the owners have the tax subsidies or getting tax breaks from taxpayers and from the cities that they're playing in, that they represent. And so I could see something getting caught up with that in like a class action suit. But other than that, again, it's not really affecting a bunch that's going on within the day-to-day person's life within the United States. And so, and it's kind of, again, it's kind of interesting. Not only is it happening, but within like the start of the NBA season, but also look at what league we're talking about here, guys, with like 80 to 90% African Americans. Like there could have been other leagues. Like it was just kind of like intimated within the UFC this past weekend. There was a fight. Let me go to it. There was a fight on the UFC Fight Night card this past weekend. Isaac Dolgarian versus Yadir Del Valle. So there was a fight between these two men. Dolgarian was pretty much favored, and he was undefeated. He's like a prospect. But at the night before the fight happened, all of these gambling books and sports books started getting a lot of information that was like taking down. He was the favorite by like 400, but then it started taking down him and started putting more money. They started to see more money go to the other guy. And so the odds kind of started trickling away from him. And then especially with the prop bets of him losing in the first round, those started going like, it was like, I want to say from plus 800 to plus 400 because so many people were betting on him to lose. And sure enough, like he had a bunch of takedowns in the beginning part of the first round, but then all of a sudden he just gets reversed, and then like he's belly down, and it doesn't look like he doesn't even look as if he's trying to defend the chokes or the punches that are raining down from Dudley. And then Dudley ends up sinking in a rear naked choke, and he fights for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds or so until he taps out. And so there was like a lot of suspicion around that, plus add the fact that Dagarian, his former coach, was James Krause, who kind of went out in disgrace a few years ago when he got caught up in a betting and gambling scandal that involved players or involved fighters who were possibly like giving insider information about them having injuries. And so his former coach got caught up in that. So now that kind of trickled down on Dulgarian. So, but we know with the USC, we know who's at the top of the USC, and we know with that person at the top of the UFC, ain't no way the UFC getting investigated.
Right.
Well,
They're gonna look under the covers real quick. Are you good? Okay. And then Patrick tuck you in the bed and be like, yeah, there's nothing here, nothing to see here, folks.
Well, here's the thing with that too, and I actually see what you're saying, Ray. They're gonna have a hard time doing that if they're because I could see something like that. I think that could be these NBA guys saving grace. You know, if some of these people start snitching and it gets back to the UFC. Why am I looking like this? What the hell?
That's like a very scenic shot.
Well, if some of these things are like kind of if people start snitching and word gets out that these UFC guys are involved, they're gonna have to do something. They can try to like pretend it's not there, and they will, but I mean it's gonna be a hard thing to do, you know, because the thing is, and here's another thing too. If the FBI doesn't do its job, depending on the state these people live in, the state might do their job, you know? So it's not something that if you're in the UFC and involved in this shit, you're just gonna walk away scot-free. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. So we're going to stay tuned to this story because this is still a developing story. We're not going to go away from it. So we'll pick this up in another couple of weeks, see where we're at, because not only does this affect, as Ray and Chris just said, like what's going on with the NBA players, but it could have an effect on all of sports, given the way that gambling is now something that is not only accepted and tolerated, Jay, but celebrated by these leagues. And so now we're having to look at things more closely than we ever did. But with that being said, what if I gave you, and I do hear a little bit of an echo there, Cash, if you listening, man, ain't nobody talking to you, Cash Patel. We ain't got no insider information. Ray cut Cash Patel off. I was gonna make a joke about his eyes, but I feel like that's too mean, even for Cash Patel. But anyway, what I was gonna say, Jay, is what could I entice you with the odds for Drake May being the MVP of the NFL at this point at a plus 400, brother?
I plead the fifth.
Ray, give me some football music if we have any football music in the StreamYard, because we're gonna talk about the National Football League, brother. Ray's like, you didn't give me enough time to cue up the music. I'm busy kicking Cash Patel off the line. Oh, here we go. There we go. A league at the midway point, ladies and gentlemen. And the crazy thing about all of this right now, fellas, is we're halfway through the season, and I still don't know who's legit. I don't know who's real. I don't know who's a contender or who's a pretender. I think I know which teams are good, but we've seen the Buffalo Bills lose to my lowly Atlanta Falcons. We've seen the Kansas City Chiefs have some head-scratching losses. We've seen the Baltimore Ravens struggle even before Lamar Jackson went out for a few games with injury. We've seen the damn Cincinnati Bengals with old man Joe Flacco try to be relevant in today's game. And maybe the most schizophrenic team of them all, the Green Bay Packers. I don't know what the hell is going on in Green Bay besides cheese and beer. But let's talk about the first half of the season, fellas. Any surprises, any teams that you think could be legit Super Bowl contenders? And we'll start with you, Jay.
I have to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, really?
I thought the Steelers historically we're always like, okay, they need a quarterback, they need help. Ever since Roethlisberger retired, they've always had like a carousel of quarterbacks. Their defense has never been one to be like, okay, we're the weak link in the chain. This year is flip-flop. We finally got a quarterback. We finally got somebody who's running the offense, semi consistent, but the defense has been suspect. I mean, it's been we're giving up 25, 28, 30 plus points every week. And Aaron Rodgers, my guy, is having to chuck that ball, and the running back situation too is kind of inconsistent. I mean, Jalen Warren has been a little bit he's been hurt, but I mean the offense has been the offense. DK Metcalf is not the same DK Metcalf we wanted. But Pittsburgh, they're in the division with the Cincinnati Bengals, who they lost to. They've got the Ravens, who they don't even know who their identity is without Lamar Jackson. The Cleveland Browns, who are these guys? You know what I'm saying? Whoever comes out on top in this division is a wild card team at best. So outside of that, again, I don't know who Green Bay. I mean, they show up like gangbusters one week, and then they get mollywopped. There's no consistency. Some people call it parity. I call it inconsistency.
Yeah, like Ray Williams, like your beloved Josh Allen, the quarterback of your fantasy football team in the Nefarious Media League, reigning MVP of the National Football League. This man goes out and wins a game against one of the most feared teams in the league, but it almost felt like a Chris Rock supposed to type of game, meaning you don't get no credit for that, Josh Allen, because it's the regular season. That's the way it feels because, going back to one of Chris's favorite jokes from Chris Rock, it's like, I take care of my kids. You're supposed to take care of your kids. You don't get credit for that. And it's like, even with the Chiefs being 5-4, the same exact record as the Carolina Panthers. Shout out to the nephew, Bryce Young and them boys. But even with the Chiefs being 5-4, I don't think anybody looks at that game yesterday and is like, oh, this is a team that's not going to make the playoffs. This is a team that's not going to be a threat come postseason. But it's like, I don't know what's going on. Like the Steelers are leading the division, but I don't have faith in that defense. Yeah, they looked great yesterday, but I don't have faith that they can do that on a weekly basis. Then when you look at the NFC, the Eagles are consistent. Rays Commanders are kind of out of it now due to the Jaden Daniels injury. The Lions look good some weeks, and other weeks it's like, oh, these guys are pretenders. They are not who we thought they were. So I don't know what's going on in this current NFL landscape. Ray, do you have any clarity besides your sadness at the Commanders?
Well, of course, we got to go with the obligatory, the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. No, they're not. No, they're not, people.
You never know, Ray. In this economy, anything can happen, brother.
And has Dak Prescott not proven to you enough that he is not the MVP? He'll step up for teams. He'll step up for teams that are under 500. He'll step up against defenses that are not that well. But when he goes against a Denver, he gets smacked in the mouth, and then he's back down the side. So please, all you Cowboys fans, get your expectations in order, okay? Maybe a wild card appearance. But like you said, Brother Jay, I think it's just everything's out in the open, and then it seems like what was up is down, and what is down is up, because not only did you mention Detroit Lions, who seemed like barn burners last year and kind of like up and down, but now we got the Colts. Did we expect Danny Dimes to go and change the entire culture of the Indianapolis Colts? And now your girl, now this is a fine milk with the Ursay daughter, who's now. If you need somebody to leave your man.
Wow. Ray is out here thirst trapping for, was there a Cali Ursay on these streets?
I believe so.
Wow. Who's next, Ray? Charlotte Jones?
I don't know about Charlotte Jones.
Ray gonna show up one week. How about them Cowboys?
Nah. We saw Jerry. We saw Jerry protesting against the Little Rock Nine. I don't know about you, Charlotte. You had to slow down.
I'm a changed man, Ray. That was a long time ago. Sit down with me, have a talk. Here's a glass of Johnny Walker Blue. What are your intentions with my daughter?
Yeah, with Indianapolis, they're turning around. Tampa Bay is getting it together, and now a true MVP candidate in Baker Mayfield out here, who's just getting himself together. And you mentioned Carolina, not only with Bryce Young, but Rico Dowdle coming out of nowhere. That brother saved me. I had to pick him up off the waivers. That brother saved
what
my
I want
life.
to know, Ray, is how is every game for Rico Dowdle the Rico Dowdle revenge game? Is it just because all those teams release you, brother?
I think so. And this
Like every week, the Cowboys is the Rico Dowdle revenge game. Tampa Bay, Rico Dowdle revenge game.
It reminded me of someone, wasn't it like a wide receiver that got passed up for like 7 other wide receivers, and then they came out and just started balling like a Puka Nacua or somebody. Yeah, man, just get your revenge. Just not against my Commanders. We ain't do nothing wrong. But yeah, I just think, yeah, like you said, Nate, it's hard to pick who is actually legit and then who is actually pretty much out of it. Like you mentioned with the Chiefs, like they're always, even if they're like 3-8, you figure they're gonna find a way. They're gonna find a way to make it into the postseason. They're gonna find a way to get a home game for the AFC Championship. So I don't worry about them like this early, even midway. I don't really worry about the Chiefs too much because I figure they're gonna get it together. But you mentioned the Bills. You mentioned the face of my franchise, Brother Josh Allen, who picked up a big victory. But again, you can't trust him. Like it's hard for you. Like, I'm glad the fantasy league only goes through the regular season, because if we went into the postseason, I'd be in trouble. But
that's one of the craziest stats, Ray. Like in the regular season, Josh Allen, I believe, is currently 6-1 against the Chiefs. In the postseason, he's 1-4.
Yeah. And I guess he is like, oh, we got up there. We got
0-4. Look, I gave your boy credit he don't deserve. He
0-4.
Maybe this will be your year, Josh.
Yeah. He got up there.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't his year.
He got up there when it wasn't too cold. Like this at the end or beginning of November, it's like, oh, it's fall weather in Kansas City. I can endure this when it's like 20 degrees. I don't know about all, even though I play in Buffalo.
Right, it's like you play in Buffalo, my boy.
Like, yeah, what's the difference? Just it's that north, that Midwest cold.
I get it that the Miami Dolphins are terrible in the snow, but you should be all right, my boy.
You would think so. And he played for like what, like Western Michigan too, or like North Dakota State or something.
Wyoming.
Wyoming, yes. You think he'd be used to it. But yeah, it's hard to tell who's going to be the actual like heavy hitters come January and February. But I'm digging like the parity of the league right now. And
like, would it surprise you, Ray, if we're doing a show in February and we're talking about Eagles and Chiefs again?
Right. Yeah. I'm actually liking the Eagles. I think they're still consistent with what they did last year. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. The Chiefs, I understand what Ray is saying, but I'm not as sure on them as I was at the beginning of the season. I think
4 straight appearances, Chris.
Yeah, but I think every team in sports, there reaches a point where other teams start figuring you out. And I think that the Chiefs might be at the beginning stages of that. I'm not ready to say they're in that stage yet, but just with the inconsistency this season, it gives me. I don't think it's a nothing burger. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. And the AFC is a lot tougher than the NFC to get through.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's way tougher.
And then I didn't even mention Denver catching fire. And
my Broncos. Yeah, they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about Denver. Like, I think Denver, and I put Indianapolis in the same boat with your girl Callie Ursay, Ray. Like, they are having some good success with Indy, with a quarterback in Daniel Jones that is a reclamation project. And then in Denver, you got Bo Nix, who's kind of turning the corner in his second year. But I'm still kind of, the jury's out for me on both of those teams. Like, I think they're having good success so far this season. But the postseason is a different story, and I don't know if these are the teams we're going to see in the postseason. Because again, like, I don't really have a lot of faith in Jay's Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, old man. Because there was one point in the game yesterday, and I was watching it at work, and me and my coworker just busted out laughing because Aaron Rodgers didn't have anybody to throw downfield for, and I guess in his mind he thought, "I'm not 40, I'm 20. Let me scramble for this first down." He took about 2 steps and then got hit on both sides and just immediately went down. It's like, oh, I'm good, fellas. I can't scramble no more. But even with the Steelers, just because of the pedigree and the experience, like I would trust them to at least, maybe win one playoff game this year. But it's just, I can easily see a situation where we've got a crazy ass random Minnesota Indianapolis Super Bowl, just because the teams are so even right now, and it's fascinating. Like Chris mentioned the Eagles, and like the Eagles are probably one of the more consistent teams in the league, but they always fighting. They like that couple that that's been married for like 12 years, but be fighting every time y'all go out to dinner. And it's like, why are these people still together? Like, even when they win, and AJ Brown got something to be mad about, Chris. Like, you didn't throw me the ball enough. Then they threw him the ball 40 times the other game, and he was like, you threw it too much.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's just, as far as who I'm thinking can make it, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll go out on a limb, and I'll say, because again, Chris, you say maybe this might be the time to get got, but just when you think they got the answers, the Chiefs change the questions, brother. So I don't know.
Yeah, they are that kind of team too. So it's like, that's why I'm not like emphatically stating that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't make.
And it kind of feels like, Chris, and it's not the same thing because the NBA is a little bit different in terms of the season length. But when you look at like those Bulls teams or those Heats teams or your Lakers teams from back in the day, Chris, sometimes it took them half a season to get kind of where they needed to be to get ready for that playoff run. And I still think like they just got Xavier Worthy back a couple weeks ago, just got Rice back a couple weeks ago. They got a new rookie running back that they're trying to work in because that run game still looks pretty bad. Like, I don't think Isaiah Pacheco has looked the same in like 3 years. And they got linemen that are coming back from injury. So it's like it feels like the Chiefs are always tinkering with stuff and fiddling with stuff. And, they'll probably finish second in their division to your Broncos, but I think they're still going to be a scary team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the thing about a team like the Chiefs. The Chiefs win the games they're supposed to win. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like these regular season games, they kind of mean something in the standings, but like at the end of the day, your job isn't to have the best record in the NFL. Your job is to get to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to the playoffs, it really is anybody's game, and the Chiefs have proven that they win those important games, and that's one of the benefits they got going for them. Same with the Eagles, they win the games they're supposed to win. I mean, there's teams that have like awesome records in the regular season, like go undefeated, like the Patriots that one year, and then you get to the Super Bowl and lose, So
and I'm glad you brought up the Patriots, Chris, because you mentioned kind of Kansas City not being as dominant as they used to be, and I think right now we're kind of in the era for this Chiefs team that the Patriots were in when they were losing to the Giants, where it's like, they came up short, but you still can't count them out because then a year or two later they're right back in it and they win it again. So I think this may be kind of the lull where you got like Travis Kelce, who's getting a little bit older. This probably his last season, and then Taylor's gonna make him retire. Where you got like Andy Reid may not be back at the end of this season, but then they're just gonna reload, and then like 2 or 3 years from now they're back winning again every other damn year. And it's like these damn Chiefs.
I think with my pick, like I said, I'm gonna go out on the limb. I think I'm gonna trust my boy to get past the hump. I think I'm gonna go Bills and Buccaneers.
Okay.
Sorry for your Falcons. I know
they want a Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen Super Bowl. Okay, Ray, you ain't for the culture in February, my boy. February. That's what we doing. You couldn't even say Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. At least get one of us in there.
Well, I think we've been spoiled, brother. We've been spoiled. We had
you say it's time to give back.
Jalen and Pat Mahomes 2 out of 3 years. We've
time to start giving back. Okay, I see, Ray.
DEI.
So, what you're saying, Ray, is for as much flowers as we would give a champion like Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or even Jade Cargill, we must also celebrate the Josh Allens and celebrate the Baker Mayfields and celebrate the CM Punks of the world, brother.
Indeed. Are you helping us ship to some?
I think it's time we talk wrestling, man.
All right. Well,
we'll have more thoughts on wrestling in a couple of weeks when we bring the NWA back to post wrestling. And for all of those that I don't know if you saw it, Jay. We had a lot of people that was angry that we only went like 3.5 hours this last time.
Yeah, I still can't believe that, man. Like people are getting mad at us for not going 5 hours, 6 hours, or whatever.
You know what? Now I take it back. Chris. You know what I said about AJ Brown a few minutes ago? Now I understand how that brother feels, man. Like, I'm doing too much. Now I'm not doing enough. What do you want from me?
Yeah. It's like, because people will clown us when we go the 6 hours, and then we abbreviate the show because we've got other commitments and stuff. It's like, why do we only do a 6-hour show, man? It's really weird how that dynamic works. I think people just want consistency. It's not even so much that mom and dad are together and all they do is fight half the time they're together. But the minute one of them and you wish that one of them would leave, but when one of them leaves, it hits you, and I think that's probably what's going on with us. But yeah. We're not going to be able to do 6-hour shows every month.
So what you're saying is we need to have a conversation with the audience. Be like, hey, so I know you noticed that Ray and I haven't been getting along.
Right.
But we both love you as an audience, but Ray's got to go take some time and move into a crappy apartment and figure himself out.
Yeah. So, maybe have some kind of heart-to-heart.
Dysfunction is a love language.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the weekends, though.
Right. Ray will pick you up every other weekend.
Right. Yeah.
Ray got the Lexus.
Like, every time Ray comes around, that Cali woman's in his car. I thought he was a Commanders fan. Why is he always wearing a Colts jersey now? Don't make no sense. But yeah, let's talk about the big news from the past week or so. Let's go to Jay first, because Jay is the member of the Ring Theory crew, which you can find here every month at Nefarious Media. But what are your big takeaways from the last week or so of pro wrestling?
With the Saturday night's main event, Jay Uso should not be in the main event. That's hot take. No yeet. No yeet. Strictly tag teams. I think that the match with him and CM Punk, I was feeling like we've seen this before. We've seen Jay Uso as the heavyweight champion, and he did an okay job. Yeah. We've seen CM Punk as heavyweight champion before already. I mean, he's a veteran. He's a grizzled vet. Why don't we go with somebody else that hasn't had the strap before? LA Knight. Why don't we go a different direction? I mean, you've got the pencil. You got all this creativity. Let's use it. I mean, CM Punk is champion. Okay, that's serviceable. That's going to put eyeballs on your product. That's cool. But I don't like the fact that the match, it was slow. It was very odd. You could tell CM Punk was getting very frustrated with Jey Uso, and then it started rolling and clicking. But there was a lot more rest spots than I'm used to. The pace of the match was just not. It wasn't doing it for me, Now to book in that one, the Cody Rhodes Drew McIntyre match, that was pretty solid. And I think what they're doing with that is they're starting to tell a story with Cody Rhodes where he's starting to lay down seeds of maybe turning heel. The long story, the long form of it. And I like what they're doing with that. Jade Cargill winning the belt, cinema. Loved it. The only thing I did not like about it was they gave Tiffany Stratton an out. She came into the match hurt. So she didn't beat her on full strength. And I don't like the story that's being told about that. Otherwise, hey, congrats, sis. And the Dominic Mysterio match, what can I say, bro? We got like 2 more months left. And in my opinion, I think Dominic Mysterio is in the conversation of being 2025 male wrestler of the year.
Okay.
But overall, Saturday night's main event should have been like Saturday night mid-event. Saturday night meh event, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow. So here's the thing. Chris, I'll go to you next because much like Jay, I was excited to see our good sis Jade Cargill finally win the big one in a match that was very reminiscent of that one scene from the classic Bringing Down the House with Queen Latifah and Steve Martin. Queen Latifah beat the brakes off of Missy Pyle. It was reminiscent of that. CM Punk and Jey Uso, like, I knew Punk was going to get the belt at some point on this run, but it felt a little anticlimactic, not only because of the setting of this Saturday night's main event that was probably one of the least watched Saturday night's main events, because not only is it going up against the World Series, but it's going up against college football. And so it's like you got a lot of people that probably were checked out on the actual live airing of the show. But I feel like Ray gave an example of a great triple threat earlier with that Unbreakable match from TNA. When you look at the pairing, the grouping of LA Knight, Jey Uso and CM Punk, like I don't think that's an appealing mix. Not to any detriment of LA Knight or CM Punk, but I hate to say it, Jay, your namesake, he not doing it for me no more, dog.
No.
He not doing it for me no more, dog. And so it's like, I'm glad Company Man Punk got the win, but I think this should have been a bigger moment. And I do feel like Chris, and you can give your opinion on this, but I feel like Company Man Punk is going to be transitional champ Punk here because I feel like this is a short-lived reign.
Yeah, I don't have any confidence in this reign with Punk. I really don't like the way WWE did all of this shit. I think once you had Braun Breaker turn on what's his name?
Seth Rollins. Haha, Greeny, I'm here. First thing, get up, Greeny.
Yeah, once you had him turn on Rollins, I think you owe it to your booking and your audience to just go all the way with him. You don't need a CM Punk midway point, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, this is what they do in that company. And here's the thing: I'm actually gonna agree with Jarek partially.
Okay.
I do think Dominic Mysterio is probably WWE's male wrestler of the year. I wouldn't put anybody in WWE as my male wrestler of the year. I just don't think the product has been strong enough for any of them to like be in that conversation. I'd give it to like 4 New Japan stars and like maybe 5 AEW stars before I give it to anybody in WWE for male stars at this moment in time. Like, there's still a month.
Devontae can't get on the list, Chris.
No, he can't, man. He's not done anything impressive this year. I mean, it's not good. It's not that he's Cody Rhodes it's not that he's had a bad year, but it's been like a ho-hum year.
Yeah.
It's nothing. WWE has not been extraordinary this year. As a matter of fact, they've been the complete opposite of extraordinary. It's just not good. Like, not bad. I want to measure my comments. I don't want to like say it's been horrible.
Right.
But Dominic Mysterio is their male wrestler of the year.
Okay.
That's just something that is the truth, man.
For those that may not be regular viewers or listeners to the Kings of Sport, that is a big moment that we just had from this man, Professor Chris Ely. Because those that have listened for a while know Chris has not been the biggest fan of this man, Dominic Mysterio, on these streets. So to see that he has improved to this level to earn Chris's respect is a big moment.
We turned
it. Yeah, and I just think it speaks to a lot of the Jade stuff. Also, I want to mention that I'm gonna be happy with this because I do agree with what Jarek said on this. The way that she won it, it gave old girl an out. But I think this is probably the best we're gonna get out of WWE with Jade. So hopefully this run can turn into something. I mean, all she really needed to do while she was in WWE is win the belt, and they finally gave it to her after overthinking her for 2 years. Now we can kind of see where she fits into their overall like infrastructure, where they see her at as a competitor, right? Because this title reign is going to be a make or break thing for her. And if it's not a sufficient title run, what they're going to do is they're going to like be like, well, we tried with her and she didn't work, and you know, all their other bullshit. But yeah, I think in CM Punk, yes, like I still like CM Punk. I'd even go as far as to say he's still my favorite wrestler.
Okay.
But it's that and first we have to get this straight. I think it's safe to say, Nate, that episode of Saturday Night's Main Event is the lowest watch rate ever. It wasn't on NBC for one.
Right.
It was only on Peacock, and it was going up against so much better shit, you know. So it's just that. But WWE as a company, they're a money making company, so they're making their money, they're making their dollars, and that's what they're doing. But I haven't been moved by anybody. They had a picture with all those AEW stars with belts.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means in the grand scheme of things. It really, I think it wasn't a flex. It didn't. When I saw it, I was like, okay, and
Right.
you know, it wasn't something that I was like, oh, look at all these guys at AEW fucked up, because none of those guys really got screwed by AEW. AEW did their part with them, and they went to WWE willingly. It's like it's not like what's his name, Lexus King, who was a nothing in AEW and became partly something in NXT. Like all those, like Ricky Starks, Cody,
Jade,
CM Punk. They were all on TV every single week. Like they got the only thing about what Ricky Starks,
I'll say Ricky may be the exception at the end.
But with him, they took him off of TV because they were afraid he was going to WWE, not because they were punishing him. That just because TK is an idiot, you know. like because what they should have did was with Ricky Starks is give him a little bit of a push, and then job him out and have somebody, their new star, send him packing to WWE. That's how you do it. Don't just leave him off of TV. But like again, it wasn't like he was like languishing when he was on TV. I don't think they gave him the push he should have got. I thought he deserved a bigger push. But his tag team with W Morrissey was fine, and you know, it wasn't like he was sucking. So I don't know what that picture means. We're in WWE now. We're making money, okay. But I just don't get what it means.
If it's a flex for anybody, it's not for WWE. It's for Cody. That Cody is the bridge that allows Jade to come through. Cody is the bridge that probably helps smooth some things over with Company Man. Cody is the bridge, Ray, that got your favorite wrestler, Ricky Superdome, in the building.
Yeah, I would say Cody Rhodes is the reason why wrestling is in a good spot in 2025. I don't think it's reaching to say that. I think Cody Rhodes is the catalyst. He's probably, when it's all said and done, Cody Rhodes is going to be one of the top 10 most influential persons in the history of wrestling. I'm putting him ahead of Triple H.
Okay.
I'd say that about Cody Rhodes, and I would say it was a flex for Cody Rhodes. But yeah, as far as WWE is concerned, right now, the Saturday night's main events, what I saw of it was decent. It wasn't a bad show by any means. Those title things had to happen on that show. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I just can't put any of their male wrestlers in my wrestler of the year consideration. And the female wrestlers is a little bit different, but the male, there's just not one that's in my consideration at the moment.
What about you, Ray? What did you think of Saturday night's main event? And your girl Jade finally winning the big one. And do you think she's going to get a lengthy title reign? Because if in a perfect world, I would be looking towards Jade and Bianca at Mania.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, is building that up. I think that you can get her to that point. And for all the people that are saying, oh, she's not ready. Well, you won't know until you put the strap on her and put the put the rocket
Yeah,
to her back
I
and
agree.
see what she can do. And
And
I
let's be
know-
real, because I said it from the beginning, Ray, and everybody said I was a hater. Everybody said I was biased. Everybody said I didn't know what I was talking about. Even you, Ray Williams. That Tiffany Stratton title reign. I ain't gonna say it was basura, Jay Lacey, but it was pretty meh.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
wrong.
I don't think that's a stretch to say that.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
it was all right. It was all
Mhm.
right.
I
And,
think you know.
yeah, I think Jade should have won it. What was that at Crown Jewel? I think that's when she should have won it, but I guess or not Crown Jewel, because that's when Tiffany took on Stephanie Becker. But the pay-per-view before Crown Jewel. I don't know if it wasn't Mania, was it? It was like right after Mania.
No,
It might have been when they went to
You talking about the Saudi show?
Yeah, the Saudi show. Yeah. So I think she should have won it there. Yeah, because she had won the Queen of the Ring. Yeah. And yeah, I think she should have won it at the Saudi show. But better late than never. And just give her the opportunity to prove herself. Just put her in a position and see how she can flourish. I know people were talking about the matches that they had with one another and with some of like the tag matches and kind of like I think there was a triple threat match between Jade, Tiff, and your queen, Carmel Queen, Nia Jax, where Jade got busted open and then things kind of got turned around and like somebody should have kicked out but didn't kick out. I don't know what's going on, but I just think those are just a series of unfortunate errors. But I think that Jade can prove herself to be like a force in this women's division.
And she
I'm
got a
glad
cool scar out of it.
She did. She did.
Mhm.
And I'm glad, Brother Chris, you did mention the women, the ladies, because I think if we don't see like a definitive male wrestler of the year, I've mentioned this before, and I see it now. I see it in you now. I wasn't familiar with your game, EO Scott, but now I'm familiar with your game.
Yeah,
I think that
Hey, you ain't been
she
paying
is,
attention there, brother.
yes,
Yeah.
the overall wrestler of the year, regardless of gender. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I was gonna say EO Sky is I haven't figured out overall yet. I'm still trying to figure that shit out. But as far as female wrestlers of the year, I definitely think EO Sky is in that conversation. I think what she's done this year has kind of like taken her off the periphery, you know.
Yes.
I don't love what they did with Bianca Belair this year, but you know, that's a conversation for another day. But I think like WWE right now for me, just it's not a cold product. That would be that'd be over dramatizing. I don't think it's a cold product.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel like a hot product. It feels like just a run-of-the-mill thing. Were you sleeping, babe?
I was watching
Okay, yeah.
Happy hour started.
Okay, cool.
Sounds like Chris got plans, y'all.
So yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's not the greatest product at the moment. It's run-of-the-mill. And I think like they're in a position where they can be run-of-the-mill, but I don't understand why you would settle for this and think this is a good long-term strategy, like with these guys, like with CM Punk. There's something off about this current run. I can't even name what it is. It just doesn't feel right, man.
Feels like old man Logan.
Feels like Aaron Rodgers trying to scramble on Sunday. Come on, brother. You ain't that dude no more.
You ain't got it.
But yeah, the WWE, to Chris's point, to kind of wrap up our wrestling conversation, so Chris can hit the happy hour with the wife. Like it's not a cold product, Jay, but it's like this DiGiorno pizza I made the other day. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. I put it in, and I kind of modified the recipe in terms of the baking time. I threw some little extra cheese and peppers and garlics on it, to make it my own. But when it came out, the crust was perfect, Jay. The crust was perfect on the outside, but then like the bottom layer of the crust, it wasn't raw, but it wasn't quite cooked the way it needed to be cooked for it all to coalesce as a total thing. And I think that's what the WWE is right now. You got some good crust. You got Dominic Mysterio. You got Io Sky. She crazy. You got Stephanie McQueen. You got all these like decent Cody Rhodes. You got these decent pieces to the puzzle, but it's not quite coming together. So we'll see as they head towards the end of the year and the clock keeps ticking on your man John Cena out here. If they can kind of pull things together and make it a delicious slice, Ray Williams.
Indeed. Well, real quick, before we do get out of here, you mentioned the booking, and of course, we know who's on top of the booking in WWE. That's one Triple H. And we've been hearing rumblings that maybe he might have it out for some certain people of the non-traditional variants. But we haven't been hearing like outright stories of him telling them directly to their face how he feels about them. Like we've been hearing things about Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley mentioned that he's just not his guy, but he didn't mention anything specifically about the color of his skin. But one person we heard who came out about a person in power.
Oh yeah,
WWE coming out against them for the color of their skin is one Devon Dudley, who decided to name names, and one of those names was Boomer Sooner, JR, Jim Ross.
Yeah, man, I got to talk about this.
Speak on it, Chris. Speak on it.
Here's the thing: I do not think Devon Dudley is lying. I really do believe he went through what he said he went through. I also don't think that Jim Ross is like a card-carrying member of the Klan. He's just not that. I've met Jim Ross several times at events. He never treated me differently than one of the white fanboys and stuff. He was always cool. I met his late wife, or RIP to her. She's a nice lady. I think Jim Ross has his wrestling beliefs, and he has a hard time getting out of it. The problem with all of this is the question: was JR a racist? If you're going to go by the definition of racism and what Devon Dudley is alleging, because Jim Ross was a person in power in WWE. He wasn't a regular nobody, nothing guy. He was a person in power. And if he's saying this kind of shit to Devon Dudley and it's hindering his push in any way, then you can say that, yeah, he probably was a little racist, it's like that, but I do think, does Jim Ross need to come out and address this? This is what I've been wrestling with the most. Should he come out and address this? Probably, but I'm afraid that Jim Ross will say the wrong thing.
Yes.
Do that. I like
my best friends are black.
In the box I have of it. He's been he's been my favorite since the 80s, like Jim Ross is a guy that I've kind of grown up with. When everyone else was talking shit about him, I think me and you, Nate, were probably the only ones saying, like, leave this guy alone. He's an old guy calling a sport. That's common in sports, Vin Scully did it till in his 90s, So, like, come on. But I think, like, he could have some of those ways in him, And the fact that it was not just Devon, it was Maven saying that shit too,
Yeah.
like these. I think Maven is self-actualized to the point where he knows and understands he's probably not going to be in a prominent spot in wrestling ever again.
Yeah.
So like he's got nothing to lose, and I don't think he has anything to gain by saying this shit either. I will say this about Maven: his podcast thing, his YouTube channel is entertaining. He's one of the David Otunga's is too.
We got to see if we can book Maven Ray. That's something for next year. We need to see.
Indeed.
Yeah, hopefully we get him, and hopefully we get David Otunga too, because David Otunga has some very interesting takes, especially when it comes to contract talk. The guy knows what he's talking about. He's a very educated dude that can speak to this stuff with wisdom that not too many people like us can speak to, or just others in that space can speak to, so but I'm not ready to take away Jim Ross's ticket or invite to the cookout yet.
He bringing the barbecue sauce now.
Yeah, his barbecue sauce is hitting too.
It actually is.
It really is.
Different flavors of it. It was great. I bought.
Dr. Ely, I thank you for saying those kind words about me. My God, you're one of the good ones, Chris. You're one of the good ones.
Yeah, I know. And I'm afraid he might say something like that too. I hope he doesn't.
It's crazy. And so, obviously we'll get into this in depth on the NWA podcast in a couple weeks, because I also want to hear what Gerard has to say about this. But I think two things can be true at the same time. Like Chris says, if Jim Ross is somebody who's in a position of power, who can actually influence the direction of someone's career within that company, the things he says and the things that he does carry weight. Do I think Jim Ross is like some blatant racist? No, but then again, who knows? We don't know this man in real life. Chris has met him, but we don't know what these folks say behind closed doors. So he could be. But the other thing is, we do know Jim Ross is a man of a certain time. And sometimes, like Chris says, it catches up to him. Like in the early days of AEW, I think there was a match with Rio, and he called her Oriental instead of Japanese, and he got a little bit of flack for that. Or the way he talked about some of the women's wrestlers' appearance, he caught some flack for that. And so he's somebody who obviously is well respected. The voice of so many people's childhoods when you talk about pro wrestling. But that doesn't mean he's perfect. That doesn't mean he's infallible. And so I, too, much like Chris, believe what Devon and Maven said. And it'd be interesting to see Jim Ross come out and make a statement on this. But I don't know, as to Chris's point, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. Like any good that he can garner from a public kind of apology or statement, would it be outweighed by the potential damage if he does say something not meaning to, but if he does say something because he's an old man who's of a time that doesn't quite come out right, and he gets the fires turned up even hotter on him, Jay? So
I do want to couch it also by saying this. There were some black talent that did come out and vouch for JR also. That they didn't say Devon was wrong, but they came out and said, that wasn't my experience.
That wasn't their experience.
Booker T was one of them. I want to say one of those Hurt Business guys did too. He's got black people that vouch for him. But that doesn't necessarily mean that what Devon's saying isn't true.
Come on, Chris. I'm friends with the blacks. I'm friends with the Orientals, even a Mexican or two.
Yeah. And I also harken back to that time where he said that they were saying, well, if women can't do the Saudi tour, they should still get paid. And Jim Ross was adamantly against that for some crazy, cantankerous reason. So he's done that, but he's also admitted the racism that he's seen in wrestling. He's come out and said that shit. So that's kind of the thing with JR. It's not. I don't think it's a thing you could just say. I don't think it's just a thing you could easily accept or easily deny.
Yeah, and like I said, we're gonna get deep into this because there are many layers and levels to this story. But Jay, just kind of your instant thoughts when you heard that story and what Devon and Maven were saying?
Yeah, so I kind of lean towards do I think that JR is racist? I don't know. I've never been in a locker room with the guy. Just hearing other people recant, their experiences, like you were saying, two things can be true. There's one person's side of the story, there's the other person's side of the story, and there's somewhere in the middle is the truth. I think that Jim Ross has a preference. I don't believe that he's racist. And to go to what you were saying, Nate, his preference is the old timers thinker. Think, that your champion has to look a certain way, a traditional way, if you will. I think that Jim Ross has shown that he's willing to grow, he's willing to learn, and he's willing to listen. And off the Riho match, he spoke about that. I think he learned from that hey, you know what? That's not the correct terminology. That's not what we use. That's offensive. I will not use it again. So I think this is a learning moment for him. Do I expect him to come out and say, hey, you know what? This is what it is? Nah, I don't expect that. And if he does, I would be scared, to Chris's point, that he would say something wrong that would make it 10 times worse than what the heat is already on him. So I just think he has a preference, and that's his opinion.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jay Lacey. I really appreciate that. You're also one of the good ones, by God. Now let's go to a man that always has a good supply of Blue Chew in his pocket. Ray Williams, what are your thoughts on this controversy?
Blue Chew, though. Well, I kind of agree with you, brothers. I think again, we don't know the man, and while I mean, I do want to take the benefit of the doubt, I also want to kind of harken back to, hey, we didn't realize Terry Bollea was saying some of the stuff he was saying until about 10 years ago when that tape came out. And so it's kind of like, kind of keep an eye on him. I think, though, this could be when we talked about this with Terry. This could be the moment that JR can set the record straight and he can confront it head on and be like, I had those thoughts before. I've changed. I've evolved as a person since then. I apologize to Devon for making him feel that way. I think if he can do the thing that Terry couldn't do, then that would garner him a lot more sympathy, and that would garner him the forgiveness that Terry, I don't think, ever received, because Terry wasn't remorseful. And we know that Jim Ross, for all of his flaws, he is a sympathetic character. He's been through a lot, and he still continues to conduct himself as a professional through everything. Right. And so I don't expect it to be any different with this particular situation that has arisen. The only matter is, when would he address it? Because I don't think he does the podcast much anymore. He's not really on television that much. They bring him out for pay-per-views. So maybe like on his social media, he might come out with something.
He would need to do it on his podcast. He sporadically does the podcast.
He does.
And that would be where he would need to announce it. Again, like I said, I think you announce you make an announcement over it when people are clamoring for it, and when you feel that it's on your conscience, and when some good could come out of it, right? I don't hear a lot of people at the moment saying, oh, Jim Ross needs to say something. Not from the black delegation. I don't see a whole lot of that. If I could be wrong, but I just don't see a bunch of that, right? But if the rumbling becomes louder, in which what happens a lot of times in these cases, he might have to come out and say something, it's like Jim Ross is one of those guys where his takes have not always been 21st century takes. You know, they haven't always been the greatest, but they've not always been the worst either. You know, and when he called Riho the Oriental, they were working with a company called Oriental Wrestling something. Forgot what it was called, but that Oriental was in the name. So I guess Jim Ross, being Jim Ross, figured, well, since it's in the name, I can say it, you know. But yeah.
So what you're saying, Chris, is we should not invite Jim Ross to speak at the next NAACP meeting.
Yeah, probably not. I think you keep Jim Ross where he's comfortable. I think you know, if and the thing about this too that we have to give Devon and Maven too is usually when stories like this come out, it's a snip in the straight jacket, right? It's like it's a small little rip that just tears into something big. And this hasn't happened with JR's thing yet, you know. It hasn't been like a bunch of people saying Jim Ross is a race. It hasn't been Tessa Blanchard levels, you know. So that's kind of a saving grace for him. It's like, you know, it's so I think right now, like I said, I just don't know what he can say that would, unless he has a script that he's following verbatim, which Jim Ross doesn't like to do. I think we might just need to charge this one to the game. I'm not even saying that's the right thing to do.
Right.
I'm like, look, man, I'm a professor. I'm not like a counselor or anything like that. This is just my thing. I'm like, yeah, I'd leave it alone if I was JR. That's if I was JR's friend, if I was in his circle, I'd say,
yeah,
JR, you might be able to get away with not addressing this, you know. So
just let it blow over. Just let
let it play out, Jim. Let it play out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
shout out to Maven and Devon, though, man. The only downside of this, I wish they said this when they were in a position to matter, you know.
Right.
And that's the way these things can keep happening in wrestling is because everybody waits until they're retired.
Because they don't want to lose that spot.
Yeah, when that judge, Vanessa Lane Bryant, no, I ain't passing it up. I'll see you. But how much time is left in it?
Probably 30 minutes.
Okay, I'll get ready soon. But with Jim,
Going to happy hour.
I'm gonna go. I'll be there. I'll see you in a second, babe. All right, but yeah, I think
it's gonna be a very unhappy hour for the good professor.
I think with Jim Ross, like with Devon and Maven, like so many wrestlers before them, they always wait until things are not in a when it doesn't matter, you know.
Right.
This shit would have mattered if Devon was still a tag team champion, you know.
Yeah.
It would have mattered if you're still active in wrestling. Like it reminds me of all those guys that sued WWE and probably have legitimate cases against WWE once they retire and they experience all these like concussions and bad body pains and stuff, irreputable harm from wrestling that they're not going to be able to get over. And Vanessa Lane Bryant was like, okay, you guys don't wrestle. What are current wrestlers saying? They're not saying shit. Why are you guys saying shit? And just throws the case out, you know. And that's what you got to do if you're a judge, you know. You there's got to be fucking proof there, you know. It can't be like hearsay from 5-10 years ago.
Right.
But Chris's advice to JR is to stop talking about it or not talk about it. But we will continue to talk about this on the upcoming edition of the NWA podcast at Post Wrestling. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to get out of here. Let's start with Chris, because Chris, we want you to have a happy hour, brother. Anything you want to promote, any news on the book, and tell the folks to vote tomorrow, dog.
Yeah, so if you're in a state where voting matters, vote yes on Proposition 50 in California. Vote for Zoran Mandani in New York. Mandami, can't say his name right, but vote for him. I know he's promising a lot of extraordinary things. It's going to be his job to figure that out. I think right now, if you're a New Yorker, the best thing to do is to just go with this guy who's saying shit, and maybe he'll get it done and maybe he won't, but hold him accountable and just vote for him. And then if you're in Virginia, y'all got shit to do out there.
I am speaking.
Yeah, so just remember to vote. That's about it, y'all.
All right, Chris, appreciate you, brother. You can find the good doctor on his social media at KM Easy Does It. Support that brother. Read his articles, man. Subscribe to the Substack. Chris, go enjoy happy hour with your wife, dog.
Right, thanks, y'all. See y'all
Appreciate you, man.
Take it easy, Chris.
Later.
Shout out to the good professor for always joining us here at the Kings of Sports. Shout out to the professor's wife for making a cameo earlier. Jay Lacey, I seen you out there at the parade with Dominican Dave Roberts. Anything you would like to promote before we get out of here?
Thanks again for the platform. You can follow me at Jarek_wins on Instagram. Check me out here on the Nefarious Network, on the Ring Theory podcast with my man downtown Gerard Brown. We bring it to you every month, every third Thursday, Friday-ish, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Catch us talking about the graps and what's happening in the professional wrestling, and also on other shows such as the Parlay. And I'm just here. Holler at me. I'll holler back.
Okay. Shout out to Jay Lacey. Stay tuned for that edition of Ring Theory coming up soon. Also, I believe we'll pencil it in now, Ray, because we do have a secret project that may occur next Monday or the following Monday. But for now, let's pencil in a parlay for next Monday, and then we'll see what happens. But Ray Williams Ursay, what you got to say for the people?
Call me Callie. But you can find me right here on the Nefarious Media Network. I've been slacking with the last SBF. Skip through the whole month. My apologies. My bad. Going to try to make it up to you guys with trying to get
too many damn Colts games.
Yeah, too many Colts games.
Taking notes with his boo.
Why is Ray only watching the sideline footage?
All right. Sneaking in with my Tyler Warren jersey.
He told him he was Anthony Richardson.
Right.
Look, I'm limping and everything. I'm Anthony Richardson. Let me in.
I'm like your man's. I'm like your man's who's working from Michigan, who got caught up in the scandal, just sneaking on the side. Yeah, I'm a coach. Yeah, just slide in with a pullover and a hat on. Yeah, I'm an assistant coach. I work with the offensive line. But yes, you can find me right here. We're gonna make sure I'm going to make it up to you guys for the 5 people that do listen to SBF. Thank you, guys. But I'm gonna make it up for you. As far as finding me personally, you can find me on Twitter and on Blue Sky at Two Way Ray. You can find me on Instagram at Mondo Dondo 1.
All right. And Ray Williams, who is soon to be changing his ringtone to "I'm going back to Cali. Cali. And then Cali sitting there, "No, I don't think so."
Exactly. Her husband, like, "No, I don't think
her
so."
husband, yeah. The ghost of Jim Irsay, "No, I don't think so." R.I.P. to Jim Irsay, who that was a wild boy.
He
Dude
was
wild. Yeah.
Jim Irsay was wilding on these streets. Jim Irsay was like Jerry Jones if Jerry Jones had found a fountain of youth, the way he was carrying on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm glad Jerry didn't get crazy until he got to like his 70s.
Yeah,
Jim Irsay was crazy in his 50s.
Jim Irsay was out here acting like Stephon Diggs on that boat. It's like, what are you doing, Jim? Getting caught up like that.
But we're not here to talk about Ray Williams and the cease and desist letter that soon will be filed to him from the desk of the Indianapolis Colts. Like, why did Daniel Jones show up to my door to deliver me this letter? It's a restraining order. You can't even go in the state no more, Ray. Pat McAfee waiting at the border, like, no, son. I'm Pat McAfee, y'all.
You making how much to be a process server? Shouldn't you be looking in the playbook?
All the old coaches just show up to Ray's house like week after week. Like, Jeff Saturday, what are you doing here?
Andrew and James.
Jeff Saturday gives Ray the
job.
What are you doing here?
Ray the restraining order. Receive it.
I don't want no problems with Marvin Harrison.
I'll say that. I don't even know who you just mentioned. I ain't never heard of that man.
Exactly.
That's on you, Ray Williams.
That's talk
about right Junior. That's all what I know.
Certified boogeyman.
Right.
We don't talk about that man. I ain't never heard of that brother. Peyton Manning was just throwing the air. He was throwing the John Cena all them years.
Touchdown.
Yeah, he was throwing the vacant who won all those titles.
Marshall Falk, what are you doing here? You forgot Marshall Falk was a Colt, didn't you, Ray? At one point,
I knew he started out as a Colt.
Andrew Luck, what are you doing here on your bike?
I know. DeMarcus Ware, why are you in a food truck?
Yo, who was my boy that was like the heart and soul of that Colts defense during the Super Bowl years? The safety.
Oh, not Roy.
No, it wasn't Roy. It was it Nick something?
Oh, his face is in my brain.
He was a bad dude.
He was a bad dude
during the Super Bowl run. Look it up while I do my plugs, please, Ray.
Bob Sanders.
Gotcha.
Who'd you say?
Bob Sanders.
Bob Sanders. Yeah, Bob
Sanders.
The most random name, but he was a beast. Bob Sanders, he wasn't no joke.
He was laying hats on fools.
Now the ultimate restraining order letter that was like
defensive
at the end of the year. Ray been sending too many notes to Cali. Like, why he sending all these letters to this woman like she's Santa Claus? And finally, there's a knock at the door, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Ray opens the door. Who is it? And it's just Tony Dungy. Son, we need to talk.
Oh,
have you gotten right with the Lord? Coach, what are you doing here?
Yeah, you know it's bad. Like you can't send like no bruiser or like Jeff Saturday. I'll be like, all right, brother, all right. But I know I've done something wrong when Coach Dungy show up at
it's a wrap when Coach Dungy show up to the door. It's like, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm Jim Ross. Maybe I was wrong.
I've seen the error in my ways.
Exactly.
It was a youthful indiscretion. But anyway, you know what's not an indiscretion? Subscribing to the Nefarious Media Network Patreon, because we in the middle of the drive for 500 Patreon subscribers, which allows us to do different things here at the network, including putting some money in folks' pockets, upgrading equipment, bringing on somebody to help Ray with production, and adding to our lineup of shows, and sprucing up the Patreon, because we kind of halfway sort of spruce up the Patreon, but really didn't. We like put a coat of paint on the Patreon, but we ain't changed no furniture or nothing. So it's still the same Patreon, just brighter. Like we went to Lowe's and got the paint. Like Dak Prescott and them was at Lowe's, like in the commercial. But 500 subscribers will help us improve the Patreon as well as other aspects of the network. And 500 YouTube subscribers will help us get halfway to monetization. The YouTube numbers have been growing. We've been noticing. So have our numbers on social, both IG, which has been booming lately, Threads, Twitter, and Blue Sky. So and the TikTok that like we was gung ho about for a month and then abandoned, like raised children. Like Daddy don't never come home. He's always in Indianapolis.
He went to go get milk and never came back.
Please come back, Papa.
He just zoomed off in his Lexus and never came back.
Last thing I heard before Ray pulled off was, I'm going back to Indiana. But yes, if you want more quality programs like this, subscribe, man. And if you already subscribed, share the show with your friends, because we are trying to do some big things here as we close out 2025. And as we get ready, it's like right around the corner, Ray. The 1-year anniversary of Nefarious is right around the corner, coming up in January. So we're going to have some big things in motion for that. But y'all can help us along the way, because we got a lot of hardworking people here like Ray and Jay and Gerard and Chris and Brittany, Steve Willie, the Bionic Man, Jennifer Smith, Chi-Chi Okafor, Sister Maria, a lot of good people here at the network, man. So we try to do some big things in this space. So that's all I'm going to say. Follow me on Twitter at @8 MOZAIK, at Nate Mosaic on Twitter and on Blue Sky, and then Black Nate, BLAQUE_Nate on IG. And finally, maybe most importantly, Ray, as Chris said before he went to happy hour with his wife, if you are in a state that is voting tomorrow, go vote. Don't matter who you vote for, even though in some of these states it's pretty clear who you should vote for. But as long as you're part of the process, that's what's important. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Kings of Sport. I want to thank Ray and Jay, as always, for bringing their game to the table. And shout out to the good Professor Chris Ely, who I'm assuming is about to be like knee deep in mimosas. He's going to have his own championship celebration. But thank y'all for checking us out, man, whether you watched us live on Monday night or whether you're listening or watching in the future. We do appreciate it. And again, tell your friends about what we got going on here at Nefarious. So for Ray and Jay and Chris and your world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, I'm the Godfather, Nate Milton, and you've been down with the Kings. By God.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?